Tony Briggs, leader of Havant Borough Council.
Ferris Cowper, leader of East Hampshire District Council. Well, I think it begins with an appraisal we did of the structure of local government. You know, local government's under an awful lot of pressures, and folk really, especially in these recessionary times, don't want to pay more council tax than they have to. Obviously, nevertheless, people still expect to have good and even improving services. So something's got to give. That meant we had to really look at our cost structure, look at our overheads, and that got us down the route of saying, well, let's have a look at the individual roles, starting with the chief executive.
Well, certainly Ferris and I, who serve on the Hampshire Senate, had a discussion some months ago around shared management services. And then came the opportunity for Ferris to be looking for a chief executive. And quite clearly, following that conversation, the obvious route to take was to look at a shared chief executive to start that process off. Well, I think the opportunities are to widen those shared management structures to give both of us a great deal more support than perhaps we have at the present time. There's opportunity to share offers around Pacific services. There's also an opportunity, I think, to deliver some services jointly across both authorities.
Councillor Briggs and I share a very similar vision on this subject. Really, it's a lot more, of course, than just taking the cost of a chief executive and cutting it in half. It's really about bringing two authorities together as close as we can. And what we need to do is to make sure we can deliver shared services as closely as possible across the board without, of course, damaging the democratic connection we have with taxpayers. It's very important that this idea that Councillor Briggs and I are putting together retains the same number of councillors per population that we had before. And in other parts of the country, the solution has been unitaries, which reduces your voting rights by over a third. We really want to work together as much as we can. The thing about working together is it really is a philosophy or an attitude that needs to start from the top. A lot of authorities, mine and East Hampshire included, have done our best to start part way up the organisation, but you know, it just doesn't quite work because you've got an organisational infrastructure above that which isn't orientated towards shared services. So for us the answer was to start at the top and cascade the concept down the organisation.
There are really two things. In the first place, they will not see a difference in the delivery of service because it will be East Hampshire delivering East Hampshire services and Havant delivering Havant services. But what it does is gives us the opportunity to be much more efficient and to save money and to reduce the pressure on the ratepayer in the future. I think it's very exciting. One thing Ferris and I agree on, that local government is slow in making change. And we have been driving this forward for months. And actually to get to this point where we can say today we are going to work jointly together for the benefit of our customers and our residents, I think is absolutely superb.
I'm extremely excited. I'm thoroughly enjoying working with Tony. You know, if you look across what's been happening lately, local government in Hampshire is a really exciting place to be right now. We're knocking through all kinds of brand new thresholds. And everybody says, oh, local government's so slow to react. I would say that from the moment that Tony and I first discussed this, there can't be more than 4 or 5 months to the actual implementation of the idea. And that's not bad going even for somebody